Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Adam here with Bro We Got This, and today I just finished watching the Elder Scrolls Online Reveal global event stream that they put on Twitch, but we are going back to Skyrim in the next year-long event or chapter expansion slash DLC, kind of like Elsewhere and Season of the Dragon, so they are doing another year-long event. So it is called Dark Heart of Skyrim. And so in this video, I'm going to go over all the details that they explained in the stream and some awesome new systems that they're going to be introducing. I'm going to go into detail of how you can pre-order it and just everything you need to know in this video I will cover. Let's get into the stream and let's get into what is going to be involved in this new chapter. So like I said before, they are going to be making this a year-long chapter split up into 4 quarters again. So they have 4 separate things that they are going to be releasing within these 4 quarters. So in the 4 quarters that they're going to be releasing, the first quarter they announced is going to be the dungeon DLC Heyo Storm, and that's going to include 2 dungeons and the prologue quest for the Dark Heart of Skyrim. That's sort of what they did with the Season of the Dragon with Wrathstone. You had the dungeons, and then you had a prologue that kind of led into the chapter. So then the second quarter is going to be the actual chapter, and that's called Greymoor, which is going to be really, really cool, and that's going to be basically the same kind of size as Elsewhere or Somerset, however you want to call that. And then the other 2 quarters, what they have planned is they're going to release another quarter of dungeon DLC that's going to have 2 more dungeons, and then they're going to have a story DLC in the last quarter that is going to finish out the year for the Dark Heart of Skyrim. So we're going to dive into kind of each of those. They didn't really give much information on Q3 and Q4 with the story DLC and the latter dungeon DLCs, but we will get into more of the Greymoor and the Heyo Storm DLC here in a little bit. But I first want to talk about kind of an overview of things that they talked about that's going to be included in this expansion or new season. And so some things that are kind of cool is we're going to be in the western side of Skyrim, because right now, as you know, in the base zone, you're in like the eastern side with like East March and some of the zones up in the north where the Nords are. So it's going to be taking place in the western side of Skyrim, and we're going to be able to go back to some fan favorite areas and towns like in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim game. So the northern zone is going to have Solitude, and to note, these events that are going to be taking place are going to be 1,000 years before Elder Scrolls V. So anyone that's interested in the lore, that's what is going to be happening with the timeline. The southern side is going to be the more boggy feel, and it's going to be where like Morthal is and everything like that for for this western Skyrim zone. And something that's really, really cool that they mentioned is there you have the overland of Skyrim, but then underneath and underground, you have a huge cavern called Blackreach that they said 40% of the playable chapter is in Blackreach. So they said that there's multiple biomes in Blackreach. You basically just you don't even know how far it spans, but we'll be able to explore that and just see really, really cool things there and do a lot of things in playtime there. Also, they said that the public dungeon that will be coming is called the Labyrinthine public dungeon. I definitely butchered that, but that was in Skyrim. It was like an area you could go to. So that was really, really cool. And they talked about the public test server is actually going to be happening next week for Heyo Storm DLC. So that's really, really cool. So you can jump in, and if you're on PC, not if you're on console, but if you're on PC, you can actually test out some of the new sets from the new dungeons and all that. So that would be really, really cool. So more on the lore aspect of things and kind of their general direction with this. They're going to be having more of a dark story, because if you watch the trailer, it's going to be about vampires. So that's going to be awesome, and we'll get into more about vampires here in a second, but it's going to have a dark story, more like the Rivenspire zone story, if you guys have played through that yet in ESO. There's also some fan favorite people that are going to be back. So Lyris is back from the base quest of ESO. You can see her in the trailer. From Skyrim, you actually have Rigard the Brash is back. And then there are also going to be some members of Ravenwatch returning in this year-long expansion. So if you're a fan of the lore, that's something that's really cool. If you're not, then don't worry about it. So let's talk about the first quarter that's going to be coming out, and that is the Harrow Storm DLC. So this is going to have 2 dungeons, like I said, and it's going to have the prologue. So the first dungeon is Ice Reach, and then the second one is called Unhallowed Grave. And something really, really cool that they talked about in the Unhallowed Grave dungeon is there's going to be a lot of secret things that you can discover or find in this dungeon. So they said, like, be on the lookout. Make sure you look everywhere, because there's going to be some very secretive things that are going to somehow enhance your gameplay or something that's just going to be really cool. And then they also said that these dungeons actually are tied together in some way that you don't find out until you do the prologue quest. There's also going to be a grapple mechanic, at least in the Unhallowed Grave dungeon, that you see in some of the gameplay footage that they showed. And that's really, really cool. So they said that they're trying to add, more interesting and new mechanics to dungeons and to ESO in general. And they're going to be adding some sort of mechanic with this. I don't know how that's going to play out yet, but I guess we can find out in the public test server and everything. But that's going to be really, really cool. How the reward systems are going to work, it's going to be pretty similar to the DLC dungeons that you found in the previous expansions. You're going to still get your titles and all that cool stuff with like hard mode, no deaths, all that cool things. They did say though that you can get weapon motifs now as rewards from the dungeons, and you can get Lyris's battle axe, which is really, really cool. The weapon motif to note is from the Ice Reach dungeon, they said. So I'm not sure if you get it from the Unhallowed one as well. But then the Unhallowed Grave one, they said you can get some really cool body markings as rewards. And that's something that's really cool. They said it's like this reddish marking and everything. So that's going to be freaking awesome. So I'm really, really excited about that. And something else to note is there's actually going to be these new public events called Harrow Storms that we're not going to be able to find out about until we kind of do the DLC and the prologue. But they're going to pop up. So they're going to be sort of like dark anchors, they said. So if you remember Somerset, you have the coral anchors that are like a little different than the dark anchors from the base game. So that's really exciting, and I'm so pumped that that's coming back, because I really liked the twist they put in Somerset on that. So I am interested to see what Harrow Storms are going to actually be. And they said that Harrow Storm will be coming out in March of this year. That's the first quarter. So I am super excited for that. So I can't wait to pre-purchase all this stuff, and we'll get into that here in a little bit as well. But now let's talk about Greymoor. Greymoor is the actual chapter that starts in quarter 2. They said that this is going to have about 30 hours of content roughly, so I think that's pretty on par for like Elsewhere or Somerset. It's going to have 2 public dungeons. It's going to have delves. It's going to have the new dark anchors, like I said, called Harrow Storms. It's going to have a new trial called Kind's Aegis, which I'll tell you about in just a second, and some of the details they talked about. It's also going to have some a brand new system that I am super stoked about, and that is called Antiquities. So Antiquities is this new system that's split up into 2 categories, sort of like mini games. And what happens is you have to go talk to a certain person in Solitude or this council, and they let you get these scrying tablets or whatever. And basically, you go around the map of ESO and you find clues by using lore or by using these scrying tablets. And they're like mini games where you have to put puzzles together. And then, like, once you find the treasure or where you need to dig, it's like a Minesweeper type mini game. So they said it's split into 2 mini games. So you might be wondering, like, so what is that? Like, what the heck? Are we just like digging for stuff? Is it pointless? So basically, this is going to be the biggest non-combat update they've had since Housing. And they said to basically think of it as like your Indiana Jones, or you're like an archaeologist and you're going around digging. It's for people that just want to chill and not kill a bunch of things and just kind of want to relax and have like a fun time going around and learning about the lore and all that stuff. But The awesome part about this is the rewards and the items that you find. They are used in all facets of the game. So what you can find is you can find these things that, like, you can put furnishings in your house. You can find new cosmetics. You can find new emotes. You can actually find a new mount that looks like Houndoom from Pokemon. It's like a blackish looking panther with like red and orange, like lava kind of. So you can find these new items called Mythic Items. And so if you're familiar with Destiny or WoW, in Destiny you have exotic items. Exotic items, you can wear only one armor item in your armor slot. Like, so you can only have one exotic armor piece on and one exotic weapon piece on. So that's what these mythic items are going to serve as. They're going to be served as these unique items in game that you can use for combat, crafting, going around the world, just all types of stuff, they said. So they gave a couple examples of some. So there's a piece of jewelry that increases your movement speed in combat, and then it doubles your movement speed outside of combat. So they said, like, if you're looking for crafting nodes or you're running around the map and you need to kind of use that, you can put that on. There's a heavy chest piece that you get that when you block, it restores your stamina. So all these mythic items are sort of like legendaries, I think, in WoW, but they're like exactly like exotics in Destiny, to where you can only wear one. But they're gonna, in my opinion, they're gonna make builds more diverse in some way, because I think that maybe there's gonna be a lot of really cool ones. And they said that these are gonna be a part of the game now forever, and they're gonna be all over. They're gonna be in the base zone, they're gonna be in the DLC, they're gonna be in the chapter zones. So you can find all these anywhere. And so I'm excited to see like what other types of mythic items you can find, like what other kind of uses can we get from them. But I've always wanted this kind of like system or like armor system in this game, because I felt like exotics were really, really cool in Destiny. And so now that you have mythic items, that is going to be awesome in my opinion. Antiquities are something that I think is going to be a really, really cool aspect to the game, and it's going to cater to a lot of different people that like playing this game. Also with Antiquities, I want to mention that these come at when they're the mythic items that you get, they drop at CP 160 gold quality, and they also are bound to account. So they said that you cannot sell these to other players. So I just want to mention that in case you were wondering about that. Also to note, there is going to be new Cyrodiil siege weapons that you can find from the Antiquities, apparently in the ground. So that's going to be interesting. And then also they said you're going to be able to craft new sets in Cyrodiil. So I don't know what that's about yet, but that's going to be really cool. Now, let me talk briefly about the trial Kynes Aegis. They didn't go too much into this, but they said it is going to be repelling a northern invasion of someone, or invasion of somewhere up in the northern part of Skyrim. It's going to have 3 bosses and 3 different hard modes, kind of like Sunspire. They felt that Sunspire was the kind of the perfect length for a trial, so they're going to kind of stay around that, they think. They are saying we can get another mount from this trial if you can do that super ridiculous achievement, and you can still get all the skin rewards and armor pieces and things like that and motifs. But that's all they really talked about with that. So one of the big other things that they're going to be adding in Greymoor is they're, like I said, it's going to be bringing vampires again, or we're going to have a huge focus on vampires. And that to me is awesome, because it's going to be Lovecraftian, it's going to be gothic, it's going to be dark. And so I'm really interested to see like the cosmetics involved and all that stuff. But the cool thing is they're revamping the vampire skill line, thank God, because the vampire skill line right now is basically, if you use it, it's really good for some builds, but you only use it for like 1 or 2 passives, and it's just kind of like a joke, to be honest. And so I'm really excited about this, and they gave us a little bit of details about it. So cool thing is when you feed, they're going to be turning that more into like the Blade of Woe from Dark Brotherhood, to where you have these really cool animations. Also, they said the more you feed, the stronger you get. And right now, the more you feed, the weaker you get. So you're going to have this incentive to feed, but you're also going to have things that come up, like you're not going to be able to, do this in front of law enforcement or whatever, in the game, like, because it's going to have the like sort of the bounty system again, like sort of if you do any sort of things with necromancy, you could have a bounty and guards might chase you. So that's kind of cool. They also talked about the ultimate. There's going to be a brand new ultimate. So the ultimate for the vampire skill line is going to turn you into a Blood Scion. And if you don't know what a Blood Scion is, I'm about to talk about that in just a second. It actually, you get a figure in the collector's edition that is a Blood Scion, but it looks freaking awesome. So I am so pumped about that because that sounds really cool. Kind of sounds like the Bone Tyrant in the Necromancy skill line. I really like that they're doing some stuff like that with their ultimates. I think it's really, really cool that you like turn into things. And then, so they basically just were talking about how like we're going to be getting a whole new revamp of that. And I know it's kind of like a joke because it's revamp and vampires, but super excited about this. And I'm going to give you guys any more details I can when they come out. And like I said, when the PTS goes live for, Greymore, which isn't right now, the PTS for the DLC, the first DLC will be out next week, but I will go over that and try to give you guys information when I find that out. So something they addressed as well that's been a major concern for the community right now has been performance. And so they already released a roadmap of when they're doing performance updates. You can find that on their website, but there's like 4 quarters of performance updates. And the first one's, they already did one today that helped with memory leaks with patches. But they're going to be releasing this next one very soon. And what this one's going to do is it's going to require you to, it's going to, you basically, if you reinstall the game, so you delete the game and reinstall the whole game again, they said, that is a pain, but what it's going to do, it's going to make the game 30 gigs less in size on your computer. It's going to help with stability, frame rate. It's going to help with downloading patches quicker, load times. It's going to help your performance overall in so many ways. So you also get an incentive as well for doing this. In the store, you get a free Crimson Torch bug pet, which a lot of people apparently have been wanting. So you're going to be able to get that if you re-download the whole game again once they make this live. So look out for that. And then they said, again, this is not going to solve every single performance issue, but it's going to help a lot. And so they're really working very hard to get these other performance patches out this year. And again, they show that in their roadmap. So just make sure to check that out on their website. Okay, so one of the last things before I get my closing remarks is they are having a physical collector's edition. This is something they did not have in the last chapter, and people really, really wanted it. And so they are bringing back a physical collector's edition, which you can already pre-purchase. You can pre-purchase basically this DLC or season or chapter already, but you can get the collector's edition, and I am going to be doing this. This is going to be awesome. It comes with a statue, real-life statue of that Blood Scion, and again, I'll put that link in the description as well, so you guys can check that out and check out all the other ways you can pre-purchase. They did say for PS4 users, they can't put that up for pre-purchase yet because of things out of their control, so that will be up eventually, but it's not up right now. Something to note with the collector's edition, you're going to get a ton of cosmetics. You're going to get a mount. You're going to get some crown crates. You're going to get, all your in-game stuff that you normally get. You're also going to get a free month of ESO Plus that you can give to a friend. So if you want someone to come play ESO with you, you got a free month of ESO Plus. Also, right now, if you go to the Bethesda store online, you can use the code Skyrim to get 10% off of merch for just in their Bethesda store. So that's something else you guys can check out as well. But yeah, guys, so that's going to basically cover the Storm, Greymore, Dark Heart of Skyrim video here. I hope that it enlightened you and informed you on like what you're going to be getting into this next chapter if you decide to get into ESO. Overall, though, I am very excited about this chapter. I think the Antiquities system is going to be so cool, and I am just very, very excited for that. I'm also excited to see the new Vampire skill line. I feel like for me, I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the Black Reach underneath the ground, and I'm going to be doing a lot of this Antiquity stuff. But I am super stoked for this. I feel like if you know someone who's not played ESO before or is thinking about playing an MMO, I would definitely if you get the collector's edition, give them like an ESO Plus subscription for a month if you don't want it, or just try to get them to try this out and see what they think. Because, I have some friends that played Somerset and then elsewhere, and they really, really enjoyed the game when they came to the game after that. So I just feel like, this is going to bring a lot of players possibly to the game. I know ESO was voted one of the best MMOs last year, so it's like this could be a great building point for the community. And I couldn't be more excited about this. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. Give me your feedback. Let me know if you're excited about this, what you're excited about, what you're not, what you wish they would bring back, and what your speculation of some things are. Like I said, if you guys want to watch me live, twitch.tv/BrowieGotThis on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday between 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And be sure, again, to hit the subscribe button if you guys want to stay up to date on when I am posting more videos. But other than that, guys, I'll be back with more videos in the next few days. But just remember to have faith, be great, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.